Hello and welcome to another Retro and Underdog game review. Today I'm going to be reviewing Deus Ex.
Heads up, JC. Your brother Paul is on his way to meet you at the dock. The NSF is raiding the island and shots have been fired. I repeat, find Paul. I will monitor your situation from HQ.
Paul, I thought you were in Hong Kong. Welcome to the Coalition, JC. I might as well start using your code name. Think I'd miss my brother's first day? Didn't think you'd have a choice. What's going on? The NSF. They hit one of our shipments. A few of them got away, but we trapped the rest in the statue. What are we waiting for? Looks like a textbook assault. The NSF took one of our agents hostage. The bots are holding the perimeter, but my orders are to hold back and send you in alone. I think someone high up wants to see how you handle the situation. All I've got with me is a pistol and an electric prod. I don't mind a test, but UNATCO better issue some hardware. Remember that we're police. Stick with the prod. It'll stun your opponents or knock them unconscious. A non-lethal takedown is always the most silent way to eliminate resistance. Just in case, though, Manderley wants you to pick an additional weapon. A sniper rifle, a GEP gun, or a mini crossbow. The crossbow. Sometimes you've got to make a silent takedown. Good thinking. With these tranquilizer darts, you'll have another non-lethal way to take down an enemy in addition to the prod. I get the idea. What's the first move? I'm going to give you a map of the island. If you can get to the North Dock, a UNATCO informant will give you a key to the statue doors. He responds to the code phrase, iron and copper. You could avoid a lot of fighting, though, if you found a back way to the statue. I'll see how it looks on shore. Your primary objective is the makeshift command center the terrorists have installed at the top of the statue. But don't forget about Agent Herman. We think he's being held on the ground floor. What are my orders when I reach the command center? Interrogate the leader. We don't yet know why the terrorists would risk an open assault.
So, I kind of opened a can of worms when I said that I was going to replay this game, thinking that it was a bit of an underdog game and that a lot of people probably won't even remember it. But, it kind of caused a mini, I guess it was kind of viral, and that as soon as I mentioned it, I noticed all my
What's your take on the situation, Corporal?
The bots have them bottled up, sir. We'd go right in if it weren't for the whole back order.
How'd they get one of our agents?
Gunter went rogue on us. When the order came, he wouldn't pull back. Now you get to bail him out.
I noticed that all my friends on Facebook and people at work started installing the game, replaying it. It's only about, I think it's 10 or maybe $10, $20 on Steam. So this overview is really for anyone that hasn't played the game before. I guess the first thing you'll notice is the graphics have aged quite a bit, but I wouldn't let that hold you back. If you're into a game with a really good story, this is the game for you.
NSF everywhere, JC. Your orders are to shoot on sight. A UNATCO informant on the North Dock can get you inside the statue. Look for a bomb. Identify yourself with the phrase, iron and copper.
So the main point of the game is you're what's called a nano-orc. You're a human being who has nano-augmented technologies to give him various different abilities.
If you want to make a covert approach, remember the Academy stealth course. Stay out of their field of view, walk slowly to stay quiet, and crouch behind cover. Or if you have to get your hands dirty, remember that a headshot is a lethal takedown.
So, when I first thought about doing this, I was going to do a Let's Play and go through the whole game, but can't quite reach that one. But I'd forgotten just how big this game was. I've just completed it, and it took me 25 hours to get from beginning to end. And that's not reading a lot of, it's going through all the dialogue, but not reading all the extra material. There's things like data cubes with various bits of information on them, backstory, information about various technologies. Avoid him. Now, if you go into the game like any other first-person shooter, you will probably die within the first 10 seconds, especially if it's on realistic mode. I think just for the sake of this review I've put it on easy, but you really want to try and avoid running into people as much as possible. So I'm going to try and play through in a reasonable amount of time. Play through to probably just capturing the terrorist leader. I'm not going to bother rescuing Agent Herman, which highlights an important point in that the game's very open. You don't have to do everything that you're told to do, you don't have to do everything in order, you kind of make your own decisions about how you play the game. And a lot of choices you make, even if you don't realise you've made a choice, may have repercussions later on in the game. I've done a bit of editing of this game several years ago, and know that it has quite an extensive flag system, so various things you do or choices you make, things you say to people, will trigger flags that will be referenced later on in the game. So it's quite a dynamic game. Obviously, you know, if you're in the situation where you have to either save someone or save your own life, and you don't manage to save them, they're obviously gone for the rest of the game, whereas if you do save them, they may come back several times and may even be more of a major part of the story and help you out. He's coming right this way, that's terrifying. The game itself has 3 different endings, and those are kind of presented to you as you get towards the end of the game. So you'll realise as you get through 3 different options that you can follow to complete the game. Just keep it nice and quiet through here. Stealth is a very big part of this game. It's one of the reasons why it takes so long. Sometimes you do spend a lot of time trying to avoid people. In easy mode it's not too bad, generally you can run away. But in realistic mode, if you trigger an alarm or something, you're pretty much dead, because one bullet will kill you. Just wait for him to go back. I'm not going to try and get that crate, because that's going to draw that guy's attention. Again, just with how open it is, there's a lot of options around how you complete the tasks, just not which tasks you complete. So for example, I'm sneaking around the back of the statue to get in. Other people may try to go through the front doors. There may even be other entrances that I'm not even aware of. Not too sure where he is. Oh, he's over there, that's okay. Far enough away now to be able to run. Trying to avoid these 2 guys. There's a lot of other things you have to watch out for in the game. There's obviously humans, such as these guys. There's robots like the one we saw on the pier. And there's also security systems. So there's things like security cameras, laser beams that you have to avoid, that could either set off alarms or traps or turrets. So give those guys a nice wide berth. Trying to be as quiet as we can. Just get rid of that, we don't need that. This isn't Half-Life. Try and stay in the shadows as much as possible. And there's a guy up here I'm probably going to have to take out. I'm going to do that with the crossbow. Some people play in a style where they try not to kill anyone at all, which is what I've tried doing twice, but it's just really difficult to do. You may not have to take this guy out. May be able to sneak up the statue. I'm walking past a lot of different things, like there's the bunker down there you can go into, there's a few items down there to collect. Obviously there's the bum around the back that you're supposed to meet up and identify with that code phrase. I'm not doing any of that for this review because it would just take too long. When I was doing the Let's Play, the introduction tutorial alone took me 25 minutes to get through. Hopefully we can sneak up here without him noticing.
Good thinking. You might be able to avoid some of the security by entering this way.
That's the info link. It's part of one of your augmentations. That's kind of like a communications device that's implanted into your head. Just keep an eye on him. And this is pretty much like a lot of the gameplay focuses around this sort of stealth element. Him I probably will have to take out. The darts don't take effect immediately. So if you get a guy with a dart, it's going to take a little bit of time before he actually falls over. So during that time you've pretty much got to avoid them because they will come after you. Didn't see me. Just keep quiet. Now you really don't want to see him when you're around this box of TNT, because if he shoots that, it's going to hurt. Oops. Actually, I think we're okay. I think we can make it around this corner. Watch out for these two guys. Uh-oh. May have a situation here. May be dark enough in this corner that he can't see me.
Who's there?
Hopefully not too many people heard that gunshot. Coming up here, we're about to enter our first booby trap, which if you're quick enough you can disarm it. That was a gas grenade, which once it goes off, generally it hurts. Things like cameras and things can be disabled. There are
Did they find the shipment? Yeah, we got the
computer
whole
consoles
supply.
you can log into,
You can see the ship's lights,
which I'll show
crossing
you
the
once
bay.
I've completed this part of the mission.
Good. You're nearing the command center. Agent Herman remains in captivity on the ground floor, but we can probably get him out. Keep moving.
Have I got any LEMs? No, so this is the inventory system here.
Some news, JC. The NSF targeted a shipment of the plague vaccine Ambrosia. We can't locate it. See if the leader will surrender when you reach the command post. We'd like to interrogate him.
The only reason I'm doing so well is I've played this level so many times I know it off by heart, but...
They found us.
Wait for the gas to clear. Some really good locations in this game. Obviously this is Liberty Island, you get to travel to New York. New York itself, obviously, this is New York, but the city. Paris. Hong Kong.
Easy. We want you to take this one alive and conscious. Find out what...
Don't shoot. I surrender.
I'll skip through this
Tell me at where would you
just for the sake of time. Grab this canister. So
Well
that's an
done.
augmentation
I
canister.
will
that
pass
you
on
can
your
use.
orders to the troopers. Report back to base on the west side of the island. Mission complete.
When you have access to a medical robot, you can insert more augmentations. So the only augmentation I really have at the moment is, aside from the info link, I've got a built-in flashlight. So augmentations use bioelectric energy, which can be refilled using either a mechanical robot, like a maintenance robot, nothing on him, or a biocell, which you can find littered around. So this is a camera. Obviously now that the UNATCO have taken over the island again, it's friendly, so it's just going to carry on watching everyone. If UNATCO hadn't taken over and that camera was still under control by the terrorists, it would focus on me, start flashing, beeping, and then eventually set off an alarm, which would cause all of the terrorists in the area to head towards me. And if there are any turrets in the area, they would also be activated. So we'll grab that again. Just have a quick look at what's in here. So you can bypass cameras directly using a multi-tool. And that's a multi-tool. So if you could sneak under it, as this camera can't look down, it wouldn't be able to see you. You could use your multi-tool to disable it. Or you may be able to find a security terminal. There's a lamp and also a lockpick. There's also these data cubes which give you some interesting information. So here's a security terminal here.
Gunther slipped out on his own. Report back to base.
So one of those data cubes actually gives you the username and password for this computer. If you didn't have one, you can hack, which gives you a limited time to do things. So that terminal only controls this one camera, so we can turn the camera off. And we can also open the door in this area. You can also change any turrets to attack enemies instead of allies, which is really helpful. So you see this camera is now off. So that's basically the game.
They sent us in to pick up the pieces. We've already searched the bodies and delivered the enemy munitions to the quartermaster.
Obviously, because I didn't save Gunther, later on, during conversations with him, he'll be slightly more hostile towards me because I didn't. He'll keep making snide comments about how agents should do as they're told and they should rescue people when they're told, that sort of thing. And that's just one example of how the game, you know, it sets the flag whether I rescued him or not, and then that flag will be referenced for the rest of the game pretty much as to how he acts towards me, pretty much. So
don't worry about the bodies.
Hopefully that gives you an idea of the feel of the game. The graphics definitely haven't dated very well, but the game itself is incredibly interesting. The storylines are fantastic, and as I said, there's so many different things throughout the game that can change that it's kind of a different game every time you play. So thanks very much for watching this review, and hopefully, you know, one way or the other, this has helped you. I will see you in the next video.